Welcome. Feel free to take a seat. Thank you. I have to admit I'm surprised you agreed to this interview, and I must say, your home is lovely. People from all over the village talk about it. I had no idea. I do see some children who take a peek every now and then. Despite this, most stay away from my place. And from what I understand, that is ultimately what you want. You don't leave this place, ever. Most of the villagers know of your home better than they know of you. Most don't even know what you look like. Some consider you a phantom of some sort, but upon seeing you now in the flesh, I have to admit, you're a lot younger than I thought you'd be. Is that what most people believe about me? That I'm a wrinkly 60-year-old skeleton gathering dust in a home? To be fair, it's not our fault. After all, we never see you with our eyes. The most we've seen is your shadow. I'm a tad confused about your age. I built this house about 20 human years ago. So despite your white hair, you don't look that much above your 20s. I'm not sure I understand. You bought this place prior to the age of 10? In human years, I have lived for around 45 years. But in the age of mages, I am 27. We tend to age a bit slower than the average human. So you are a mage. Children often recite tales of witnessing strange occurrences from your house, like a floating plate or some sort of ferocious cat. A ferocious cat? That's magic, right? Before I answer your questions, first, I want to hear about these tales. What have the children been saying about me? And what have the adults been saying to those children about me? I do admit, I am curious about how I'm perceived. Staying isolated for so long, here I thought you wouldn't care about what other people think at all. I can assure you, my decision to remain indoors does not come from a lack of interest in humanity. I promise you I will provide answers, but first, I want to know. What are they saying? One of the most common tales used by parents for their naughty children is that a monster cat prowls in the night for those who do bad. When the children ask, "Where does it come from?" they reply that it's from your home. I don't mind being used to discipline wild children. Some children use your place as a test of courage. Whoever can come closest to your house gets to brag the next day to friends. I have noticed those. Every now and then I've seen children enter my yard, and even a couple of them have peered through my window. I do distinctly remember instances of them being incredibly frightened. That's when they saw your ferocious cat. Ferocious cat. Oh, it's not ferocious, and they're not even a cat. They've been with us this whole time. They're quite close to the both of us right now. Whatever do you mean? Arcan waves his hands, and makes the spirit around his neck visible to Terran. What? What is that? They may have the shape of a cat, but really they're something else. It's a spirit I can call down. They have their own consciousness and do what they want, though they are mostly well behaved. They definitely don't like to eat children, but they are partial to fire. Fire? Unlike us who enjoy various fruits and other foods to live, they prefer to devour flames. They won't harm anything tangible, for it would taste disgusting to them. They especially would not devour children. In fact, it loves children and plays with them all the time. It plays with children, as in it goes outside. Yes, it does. I'm sure you'll find them in your registry under the name Mark Rivers, though please do keep this a secret. They don't want to be found out. After all, they're a shapeshifter. Come on, Kira. Show them your human form. Kira jumps off Arcan's neck and transforms into a human child. Wow. They thoroughly enjoy their secret life of going to the playground, though they're not a fan of adults since they end the playtime. Ultimately, they are harmless to anything but forest fires. Kira, you may transform back now. The world of magic is fascinating. Is Kira how you get your information about the outside world? They explore and then they come back with their findings. Or maybe you can see through Kira's eyes. Is that how magic works? No. I mostly feed them and give them a place to rest. Now that I think about it, the villagers are right. I do treat them like a house cat. But I have my own ways of seeing the world. You mean you can spy on us? Like through a crystal ball? I could, but no, that is not what I'm talking about. I use this amazing technology humans have invented. Fascinating, what is it? The internet, of course. The internet? Why, that's not too different from us. Why not use magic instead? Magic is useful, but the internet provides me with information that I could only obtain if I traveled great distances. Not only that, human creativity exists on the web, if you know where to look for it. I see. I have to admit, I'm quite perplexed. I was under the impression that you distance yourself from people because there's something you dislike about humans. But you enjoy what we make. You eat the same food and are curious how the village perceives you. I guess you're a lot more normal than I thought. You sound disappointed. You were searching for something grand and out of this world, an abnormality to account for my isolation. You would have arrived at what you're looking for had you asked the right questions. How so? Well, think about it. So far your questions have come naturally as an onflow of our conversations. You've been asking how I live my life, but what you are truly wanting to know is why. I think you could inquire deeper. That's a fair point. Perhaps I shouldn't rush to judgment just yet. Now where were we? How about I expand on a question from before to explain my relationship with technology? Could I use a spell to spy on people? Absolutely. But there's always a cost. I would have to sacrifice animals, ship in ingredients from all around the world, and feel fatigued for 12 hours. Why would I do any of that, when I can just use the internet to find the information I need? Yes, I could teleport far distances, but that would cost me a great deal, and so I choose to only teleport small ones. Magic has a cost, and while small tasks like washing dinner plates don't take much, other spells are far more taxing. In the same way society decides to stay at home and surf the web out of convenience, I too decide to surf the web out of the same convenience. I see. So humanity's inventions are useful to even you. Very much so. I do think it's time I stop asking how and now ask why. Why do you remain inside? Why not come outside and be with the people of the village? A great question. But I do come outside. Come again? I never said I didn't leave my house. You did. But no one's ever seen you walk outside. Well, that's true. I never leave through the front door. I mentioned before that I can teleport small distances, and that kind of travel isn't particularly taxing. I appear in their house and then vanish all the same. To be with the one friend I have in this life, it's very important that I see them. And this connection, are they human? Absolutely. Why that person? We chose each other. We enjoy each other's company. I see. That's a pretty normal You said before when I think something's normal, I need to make my questions deeper. Let me think. Okay, enjoying your time with them doesn't answer why you choose them out of everyone or why you're held up in this house. That's true, and you're right. My answer is, I feel lonely when I'm next to people. Lonely? Yes. When I'm with people, they feel distant. I don't understand. Wouldn't having people around you make you feel better? Have people been mean to you or perhaps too aggressive? If that's the case, I have to tell you not everyone is the same. No, nothing like that. I have to ask, Terran, when do you feel the most alone? Well, it would be when I'm with myself, when I don't have the people I want in my life next to me. I'm the opposite. I feel great by myself, but when I'm with people, there's a distance between me and them that is seemingly endless. Why do you feel like that? It's my birthright. It's part of my destiny as a mage. So it's not some sort of trauma or bad experience, but something to do with magic? Yes. Like some sort of curse. Well done. You're on the right track. There is a common theory among mages. When one is born, there is a payment that needs to be offered to have access to the arcane. From the inception of our birth, we have always understood that in order to have anything at all, something needs to be sacrificed. Some contract an illness as penance, for others offer a limb, their voice, or their whole presence, and are invisible to the eye. As mentioned before, all spells come with a cost, and thus, using spells at all comes with a sacrifice. That is the most accepted theory among mages. I see. So it's not easy being a mage. I think it depends. Ultimately, most mages do see themselves as cursed beings, that prior to coming into this world, a deal was made with an entity for the sake of power. Then I have to ask, what did you sacrifice? Mine is something I find hard to articulate, but I shall try nonetheless. Growing up, I never managed to connect with any of my peers. No mages, nor my family, everyone felt yards away, with the exception of that one friend I mentioned. And that's my sacrifice. I'm cursed to only be able to connect with one person of my choosing in this lifetime. Any other attempt leaves me feeling separate, and the other person feels a mix of disgust and disinterest. It's like an invisible barrier that is always active. You'll feel it soon, and with it, this interview will end. That's quite foreboding. That must be why you're always in your house, because you can't connect with anyone else. I don't feel too disconnected, I think. You most likely feel stimulated by our conversation, but emotionally, you'll soon feel the need to want to leave. A certain lethargy will set in. I have to admit, that's kind of a bummer, though I want to stay optimistic. I appreciate your optimism, and I do agree, it has vexed me my whole life. What about your cat? The spirit. Are you friends? Yes. The curse applies to humans, other mages, and human-like creatures. To my delight, spirits aren't affected. Is there any way to break the curse, like some sort of spell? No. If there was, I would have tried it by now. I just have this feeling that, despite everything we talked about and everything I learnt, I'll never be able to bridge this gap or leave satisfied. It's beginning. What is? The feeling of separation. Terran looked into Arcan's eyes. He had this strange feeling that he'd almost been talking to himself the whole time despite the person in front of him. And Arcan noticed this, for he'd seen this expression many times. Even if we don't connect, I can still offer information. I'm going to tell you about a recent insight I made. What is it? I don't believe that this trait is a curse. I think the theory is wrong. Why not? Isn't it getting in the way of everything? Isn't it what's causing you sadness? It's making me feel uncomfortable. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud. It's okay. It only causes me sadness when I look upon a loving family, close friendships, or an intimate relationship around me. When I compare myself to what others have and the ability to feel included in any space they go to. But when I don't, and I'm more focused on myself, I get to contemplate, and as a result, feel more grounded. And through this, I've recently come to the conclusion that perhaps I am more connected than I initially gave myself credit for. How so? For starters, I have Kira for company, and I have nature and the entire cosmos to commune with. But in addition to that, I think my existence is having an impact on others, just not in the way most people think would be positive. You mentioned that most of the village is using me as a folktale to discipline their children, and that the children are using my home as a test of courage and connecting with their friends. In a way, I am having an effect to those people. Growing up, people would always feel the wall and either leave or feel disgust. I too would feel the same disgust towards them and that same wall. I'm not just someone who receives ire, I also experienced it myself due to this magic trait. And yet, through that disgust, we both come to understand the kind of person that is worth talking to, and that we are not that person to each other. They teach that to me and I to them. Families would look at me, sitting alone, and feel gratitude for what they had. My home is a reflection to the village of what it looks like when one is socially isolated, and thus every time it comes into view, just a little bit, they feel gratitude for the homes they have. To these people, I am not an inspiration, but seen as something to push off of, to figure out their own lives. And simultaneously, they all act as that to me as well. I have to admit, I've never wanted children, never wanted a family or feeling included in a group. And when I see anything resembling that, and when talking to such a person, I experience separation. And yet, it helps reinforce my decision that I was right to feel that way. Perhaps the separation is not an indication of some sort of deficiency, but a representation that I simply do not fit in. That this trait has been guiding me this whole time, and the reason it only feels like I can talk to one person is simply because that person really is that special, and my body won't settle for anything less. And thus, I act as a mirror to the world of what it really means to commit to someone. Not everyone needs to be an inspiration. Sometimes, separation too has positive benefits. We are all helping solidify our decisions to each other, and I am a physical manifestation of that process. I see. I guess the question I have would be, is that satisfying? Well, it's something, and I think it could be. I guess what you're trying to say is that even if you don't connect as friends with people, that you are still affecting them, positively too, and they are helping you as well? Yes, that's it. Despite everything, I'm still connected, just not through conversation and friendship. I could sense from your eyes and face that a sense of meaninglessness crept up on you in this interview. But don't you think that feeling could have a positive effect? For starters, you're far more likely to seek out another mage, where you don't feel that disconnection, thus pushing you out into the world. Or you're more likely to appreciate a passing conversation you had with someone recently that you didn't recognize as valuable because you didn't have anything to contrast it to, since it felt so normal. Having this experience, I act as a harsh contrast to compare to, and then you feel gratitude for that person. That is true. You are definitely having some sort of effect. Otherwise, people wouldn't be talking about you, or I wouldn't be interviewing you. But I have to ask again, are you satisfied by this? I have no choice but to be. I told you, it's part of my destiny. Despite everything I learned and all that was said between us, I have this feeling in my gut telling me that I should leave. It hasn't been that long. Is this the... Yes, it's the curse, or as I like to call it now, just my personality expressing itself. It's a trait, not a curse. It's my expression. It's a novel idea, and to test it, you are my experiment. I'm your experiment. I thought I was interviewing you. Yes. Despite the wall and the disconnection creeping up on the both of us, there's a novel emotion I'm experiencing. It's a sense of peace, that everything is as it should be, and I'm being exactly who I'm meant to be. Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Thanks. I plan to exit my house through the front door for the first time tomorrow. You're going outside? What brought this change? This conversation. This experiment. This is proof that even if I don't connect through conversation, I can still feel connected to what I'm offering. I'm very curious how these talks will impact you. What changes you make, or what feelings you'll contrast or reinforce as a result. I have faith I'm having some sort of effect, despite believing my whole life that I've never affected anything at all. And now I have the courage to venture out from the front door and test this against the village. Thank you for being my first experiment. Here I thought I was getting an incredible scoop, but I was caught up in an experiment. Things aren't often what they seem. Well, I'm glad I could be of service. Despite being an interviewer with still many questions to ask, he felt at a loss to what his next question should be. In fact, He felt his life force slowly draining from him. It's been a while. You're probably feeling it, so I think we're done talking for today. Thank you for coming. I think that would be best. This conversation was... It was something. I can't quite describe it, but it was something. Good luck, Arcan, and you're right. I am going to look for another mage after this. I knew it. Goodbye, Terran, and thank you for coming. Terran exits Arcan's house.